Right, guys, and welcome back. This is another episode of the Above Average FPL podcast. My name is Adam, and as always, joined by Baker. How you doing, mate?
Good, mate. Not many to go.
Not many to go, just a couple. But we're in the middle of a big game week now, so
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm a bit dark at the moment. Let me just to fix that and brightness.
I think I'm quite
Lovely.
bright. I went out to play golf today. I feel like I'm a bit.
I can see a bit sun-kissed, mate.
A bit pink.
How was the golf?
Up and down, but at least there was
Up
some
and
ups.
down's a good thing normally.
Yeah. At least there were a few ups, mate, which is better than the FPL world.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, it was a game week so far of big gain or big pain, certainly. And it's weird because I'm like, it's weird because like 3 weeks ago, I was ready to just throw it all in the bin. And then all of a sudden, I'm now tinkering on the edge of the top 100k. So I've kind of been sort of reinvigorated with a bit of luck and a bit of bold decision making and stuff. And it's paid off. So, I can't really complain.
So not, mate. I think there's lessons for just. I think certainly for us, because we're still babies, like in terms of taking this game seriously, doing content, doing all those things. But I think there's good lessons. And if probably, my plight over the last 5, 6, 7 weeks is, but if you thought about me as a person, then you'd say, actually, I was in a really good position with all my chips in hand in like 2K. I didn't need to get adventurous, and it's not really me. And I did, and actually, although I'm in this hole, it's been really difficult to get out of it. But I know with you, and we've talked about this. One of the reasons why we said about the pod was that you're kind of good at the bold decisions. That's your fun. That's always been your fun. Is 10 years of me and you playing this game for fun. So actually, I think that it's nice when those things go right or go wrong based on what your sort of traits are and stuff. So it's a good lesson, I think, for you going forward is don't be afraid about doing stuff like playing wildcard early and things, because I think you can get those bold moves out of it. Whereas me, I'm like,
there's still certain decisions that I've made that I think that in hindsight, I could have taken a more pragmatic approach to. And, certain things when Salah double game week against Norwich and Burnley is staring at you in the face. I mean, that's just, I went differential for differential sake almost, and I paid the price for it. But, that's the sort of thing I don't mind doing, but it was really a silly decision. I get that. And, I put myself in a position to get unlucky, and I got unlucky with Trent being benched in the first game. So yeah, that was a bit frustrating. But let's just do quick admin and then bring it back to the current game week and how we've done so far, and get the pod going. So the podcast is available on any of your favorite podcast player, Apple, Google, Spotify, all that good stuff. We're also available on YouTube. Check us out at Above Average FPL. We stream live on Sunday nights now, I think, more than anything.
Seems it.
Seems like it's the way to go now. So we've got a few guys in the chat already. I've lost the chat for some reason. Hold on one second. That is...
I can shout on. We've got Mike, Paul Wogan, Sarab, Sharma. I'll go with that. We've got Jack, Critin. Yeah, that's about it.
We've got 21 of you watching at the moment. I mean, and Therapy was in earlier as well. So hello to you, mate. And it's good fun to, just have a little bit of engagement on a Sunday night. The games are fresh in our minds, so it's good to have a chat about it. The channel supported by supported by our good mate Dan. He is at CryptoBlockDan on Twitter. He's a games analyst for the Play to Earn crypto world. So go check him out. He's lots of interesting stuff going on in his world at the moment. If you're interested in crypto, any of that good stuff, then go check him out. Chintan and Big Geek are both saying hello as well. Matthew Locke, hello to you. So, on to this week. Do you want to start with me?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, you want to start with me? Let's go. So, on to Optimized. So Talp, again, thank you for this wonderful website. And yeah, it's been a really, really good week for me so far. I've obviously was expecting to be, just above average, which is perfect, I guess. Stay on brand. But, with Salah, not having Trent, that Liverpool-Tottenham game was obviously quite a big risk, and managed to dodge that. And I thought that, generally speaking, Salah was quite quiet, apart from a couple of chances and maybe the Ben Davies block shot. But today, I mean, I had the triple city, so I had Cancelo, Laporte, and De Bruyne. Didn't have Nketiah, so took a little bit of heat there. But that's fine. I mean, he was like 55% owned.
But you got covered, mate. You got covered by Nketiah because
massively.
You had Dawson on your bench boost.
Yeah. So Craig Dawson. Yeah, Craig Dawson with. I mean, and I've watched that goal back, and I'm not even sure he gets a touch on that. To be fair, and then he immediately gets injured and disappears and banks his clean sheet just in case Norwich get a late goal. So I was all over that. Absolutely loved it. So. Sorry, I just seen something in the chat. And so far so good. Obviously I can't complain at all. I've got that second Liverpool game to try and avoid a beating from. And even if I do take a bit of a beating, it's okay because I've got another City game to come in.
Mate, Wolves, we'll get to them, but there's plenty of fun, mate. Plenty of fun to be had still.
So all good. So I'm up to like 128k now, which is madness considering 3 weeks ago I was 350k. So there is opportunity to get gains at the end of the season. It's being proven. So
yeah.
Flip to you. Okay, so we'll bring yours up. Slightly different story.
The 9th game in a week in a row. I am. Like over double figures below my expected points, just can't get anywhere near my expected points on any week of anything. Literally as soon as the game week kicked off, Coutinho bench, I was like, yeah, here we go. And my decisions, I rolled, but I was in a position where it was like, okay, am I comfortable benching Coutinho? And checked a few forums out, and they all said, Coutinho starting front and center on the picture from Villa for the game for the day. And I was like,
pain, isn't it?
I'm just not that comfortable benching him if everyone else thinks he's playing, because I'd have made transfers, which would have meant I needed to do him. So I was in between 2 transfers in the end. It was bring Richarlison in for Weghorst and bring Laporte in for James. Yeah, that would have been 18 odd points difference.
Mate, we did it on Wednesday. We literally spoke about how bad Reece James is for both of us, and he played to it again.
I'd looked at doing Weghorst to Nketiah was one of the other moves of just playing him over him, no hit, or it was downgrade Saiss and bring in Richarlison, which actually wouldn't have gained really anything. But just everything that could go wrong, mate. I guess I wasn't expecting Nketiah to be like 50% owned.
Oh, it's madness.
But when you think about it, 40% bench boosted this week. He's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, why would he not be in it? So you just go with it. Like effectively, if you look at like how the chips are performed, if you want to go to that one.
Well, I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna stop because we've got something in the chat. I don't know whether you can see that.
We've seen a super chat.
We got a bloody super chat, like the first ever super chat. Never had a super chat before. Chintan, thank you so much for that. That's massive. Chintan said, "Love you guys." Great, cheers. Any of you free hitting next week? Because I am. And initial thoughts for the drafts. Well, no, we're not free
Chipped
hitting.
Out.
we're done with chips, unfortunately. So we're kind of just defending ourselves, I think, over the next couple of weeks. But
we will talk players on free hit.
Yes. So we will come to that a little bit later. So we will make sure that Chintan, thank you so much for that. That's great. Let's go to the chips. So you want the usage or the scores? What do you want to have a look at?
Scores first.
Scores. Okay, yeah. So let's have a look at what kind of a game week it's been so far. So for those on audio, so no chip is like 56% of the top 10k, averaging just under 40 points. Bench boosts 35% roughly, just over 50 points. Free hitters, 587 managers on free hit, 51.8 points. Triple captain, 277 managers, including Andy Martin, for 41.95 points. And then some madmen on wildcard, there's 55 of them, 48 points.
Yeah, and look, if you're no chip, just look at it and go, what did you get on bench boost? So I got 28 points on my bench boost. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Is you got to understand when you got lucky and how did that work out for you, and go, oh, okay, then you were going to get beaten up. But you've also, especially if you look at any of those like variance-based charts type things, is if you have 15 players, you have more chances of getting lucky, because we talked about it before, but in a single game week, the predictions never have anyone to get more than like half a return.
Yeah.
So if somebody gets a return who was in your team, hey, you shoot up. That's how the game works. And if you've got 15 of them, good.
Happy days.
You got a chance. Like if you take on yours, if you said you would never have played Dawson, would you, without bench boost?
No. So I'm thinking of the players that I wouldn't have played. So I wouldn't have played Pope. It got me 2. Dawson 9. I probably wouldn't have played Rafinha, which is fine because he got nothing so far. And I wouldn't have played Dennis. So that is my sort of true bench, was Pope, Dawson, Rafinha, Dennis for, what's that, 13 points?
Which is half your game, basically, so far.
Yeah. Yeah, so, basically.
Exactly. So, like, chill out, boys. Like, if you got a red arrow and you didn't have a chip, well, you kind of knew this was coming, didn't you? Is because it's not like 50. It's only like 10% got 10 points more than you. 35% of the top 10K were playing that bench boost. Like, it's all right. Like, you don't need to be upset today if you've got a red arrow.
I think there's a lot on how players have performed so far as well, though, for sure. I mean, even for those particularly not on a chip, there is that. I mean, if I look at I'm helping out somebody with their team at the moment, and I did a free hit for them. They wanted a free hit, so I was like, well, I didn't have time to do it, so I just literally went onto FPL Review and picked the team of the week. So you basically take your optimized free hit team for team of the week, and as of today, it's got 38 points, and that team is Foster, Trent, Cancelo, Van Dijk, Alonso, Diaz, Saka, Salah captain, KDB, Odegaard, and Pukki, which is a good team, like a really good team. And that's 38 points. Cancelo's absolutely smashed that out of the park with 9 points, and everyone else is 6 or below. So it is a week where I think that generally speaking, like the players we would have expected to perform have underperformed so far.
Which makes chips better.
Yeah.
Because especially bench boost chips better, because you've got more chance that something come off. And when you do have something come off, it just makes a much, much bigger difference. Actually, like if you look at this week so far, live points on no chip was 40. Everybody on FPL Review had an estimated points for this week of over 100.
Yeah, like 125, 130.
Well, it doesn't tend to normally get better in the second round because a lot of players don't play and stuff like that. Yeah. So that it'd be difficult now if you're on 30 to still think you're going to get over 100. Like, just is what it is.
Yep. And I mean, in terms of who's used the chips, so as you said, like 40%, roughly, it was 35%. People have used bench boost, and there's like almost 5.5% have used free hit. So we're getting to the stage now. I mean, 2 game weeks to go. Most people, well, half of people still, half of the top 10K just under, still have 1 chip left, and that is basically the free hit chip. Basically.
Yeah. So still come back to, like, if you're on no chips and you just got beaten up, you're probably getting beaten up again next week. And so that's something for you to try and think about.
Yeah, and like that period between 26 and 29, I was absolutely smashed to pieces by chips.
Exactly.
Like, it's your fucking turn.
Exactly. It's my turn. Like, that's the bit. Like I can go, oh God, I'm so unlucky, but I went early. Like,
yeah, it's your turn.
And it's not just going early, it's going early and then actually being in an unstable place and only getting 1 transfer a week to get out of it. And what happened, on my side of it, was I didn't hit my way early to keep up with the crowd. Yeah. Once I had a 60, 70 point lead on a lot of players, I should have just kept ticking. But that doesn't suit my play style, which is why I said that the early was stupid for me. But next week's fun again, is 35% bench boost is there's a lot to come out of that, especially with that FA Cup final, because if you look at, have you got that top 10k ownership?
I don't know. That's the one thing you did ask me to set it up, but I didn't actually. I didn't put it on screen.
Let me just talk through a few players just on that top 10k ownership. Is when you're thinking about, so Liverpool City, obviously, as Liverpool Chelsea is playing in the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
And going into 37. So, Salah's obviously like 95% owned. Trent's 85% owned. Then you've got James is 46% owned. Alonso's 45% owned, and a little rumor out tonight that basically will never play a game after a half-time bust up. Interesting. Mount's 40% owned. Yeah, and then obviously Robertson's 45% owned. Those three hitters are going to kind of know who they do pick or don't pick from those teams.
Yeah,
a little bit more than anybody else. A bit like the Diaz ones for this week, isn't it? They've done the free hit. I saw quite a few good free hits with Diaz in. Got those 10 points. Well done.
But again, that was another 50-50, right? You were either going to go Diaz or Jota, and I don't think Diaz gets a second game, but because I think Diaz plays the FA Cup final.
Probably not. So, but getting it in a single makes it even more fun. But then you've got Zaha, who's a really good option for this week. You've got that choice. I don't think many on free hit are going to go Weghorst, but there's the non-free hitters that are still a few of us that have got him. I think most are going to have Watkins and Richarlison. Some might go Ings, when we get to that. That's a fun differential. There's a lot of Coutinho now, and do you want Coutinho in that double?
So everyone, do you look good?
It's you're up against it in a number of ways. That now the wild cards are all out. What you see is ownerships don't swing that much in non-free hit weeks.
Yeah.
But next week they will.
Yeah. They
will swing big. Players out of nowhere was, if you've got half the game on free hit, and I doubt many won't have Zaha in their 11.
Yeah.
So he's suddenly 45, 50% owned. So we're captains.
Yeah. With captains, yeah, true.
It's
going to be a great. I think next week's going to be a really interesting double, because it's one of those again where it's actually bad teams that are doubling. So
the fun part about the next 37 though is that the deadline's Sunday. So we've got the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
Then you've got the deadline at like 10:30 on Sunday morning. But Chelsea and Liverpool don't play for a few days after.
Yeah.
Get no pressers, don't know.
Well,
what if they go 120 minutes?
Yeah.
So if you're on free hit, you're going to be like, what do I do now? Do I just exclude them because I think they won't play, and then maybe they do?
I mean, what if? I mean, exactly. I mean, what if Liverpool drop points against Villa, and then City win against Wolves? I mean, then what happens? Like, you're just thinking like immediate rotation in 37 for Liverpool. I'd be like Champman full rep type rotation. Simicast will play and Gomez will play, because Klopp will want them playing in 38, I reckon, to get up to speed for the Champions League final. That's all they'll have to play for at that point. I mean, there's all sorts of permutations that could happen. So
there's so many permutations that can happen, and so 37 will be fun in a different way, and there'll be mad stuff like that. But I do think that because we've got that FA Cup final, and then the things on Sunday is the deadline, early transfers are not the one.
Yeah.
They are not the one this week for me.
No.
And I've got like one, I'm like, for example, I could go Weghorst to Richarlison and Coutinho to Zaha today.
Yeah.
And I love that move.
But you don't need to. I mean, team value is probably not an issue, is it?
I'm 0.0 on that.
Oh, are you? Ooh.
I'd be 0.0 on that.
Oh, okay.
But you can't do it.
You can't do it.
You can't do it when everyone's got to play, and some players have got to play twice. Liverpool got to play twice before we pick them again.
Yeah.
Chelsea got to play twice before we pick them again.
Yeah.
Just got to leave it, yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Should we get on to games?
Yeah.
Cool.
What do you want
to start? We'll start with today. We'll start
with your boy.
Sorry?
Start with your boy, Big Kev.
Oh, Big Kev. Oh mate, what a roller coaster that was. Just from from an ownership point of view, that was a complete roller coaster. It was like, please just do something, followed by 5-point assist, followed by getting to free bonus, and then bloody Fix tweeting out saying on course for 3 bonus. Then he gets booked immediately, like literally 2 minutes after they tweet it, and then gets back up to 3 bonus, and then they score 2 goals in injury time just to bin him off down to nothing.
Just
or to 1.
So take away the last goal. So let's say it was a 4-0 win.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get this right. A 4-0 win, including returns from all 4 of the back 4.
Yep.
Plus a clean sheet.
Yep.
And a man who took a good corner was top of the bonus.
Yeah. He's that good. He's just...
That's how good a player he is.
He's just always...
He took a corner. That was his only actual goal involvement, was taking a corner. Yet he did enough in the game to be top bonus against a defensive midfielder scoring as well. A defensive midfielder scoring and all 4 of the back 4 being involved in goals.
Yeah, he's just an absolute monster, because he would have got, 9 for that assist?
9 for that assist. He got 9 more for creating 3 big chances.
Yeah.
He put 11 crosses in, 4 which successful, so another 4 points on it.
It's just massive, isn't it?
90% pass accuracy. 50 passes and 90% pass accuracy.
Yeah.
Even the long balls, he played 5 long balls, 4 of them connected.
Yeah.
And then he still got booked.
Yeah.
We should just offset it. And he's still there.
Yeah, it was madness. And yeah, those last 2 just absolutely killed him from a bonus perspective. That's Zinchenko assist. Because Zinchenko had a couple of chances as well, so that's why he was up there. And then obviously Sterling gets all the glory in the end. So
if you had to call it now on free hit 37, would you put Salah in your 37 free hit?
A free hit. Who have they got?
Southampton away.
Probably. Probably. Oh, yeah. No, yeah, I would. No, yes, I would. Yes, I would. Yeah.
Would you?
Southampton are that team, mate.
They are that team. But Kevin De Bruyne and Son, start losing
your
money.
doublers are cheap, though. Your doublers are cheap. If you think you've got Zaha in there, you've got, you could have a Gahey, Gaeta, whatever. You got cheap defenders. You got cheap midfielders. You've got Richarlison's probably the most expensive doubler you're going to think of.
Yeah.
So if you cover him plus, 3 or 4, I mean, you don't need to spend loads of money. I mean, everyone's going to be on Gordon if you're on a free hit for sure, 100%. You wouldn't even go anywhere else, and you go Mikalenko, wouldn't you? You just Mikalenko, Holgate, whatever you want. And that feels a little bit reactionary, but still, you're gonna get these players because they're going to be like 4.3, 4.4. So I think there's enough money to go heavy on Son, Salah, and KDB. You probably wouldn't be able to get Kane. That's probably where you'd have to sacrifice if you went those 3.
I think KDB would be a lock though now.
Yeah. I'm a bit annoyed actually he played 90 today. Just from a game week 36 point of view, I think I'm a bit annoyed that he played 90. But to be fair, he's got 3 games left in his season, so I can't really see why Pep would drop him.
He was proper tired in that last 10 minutes, mate. He was plodding.
Yeah, but
he was plodding. But
City were unbelievable.
They were so good. They were so good.
Such a great team. And Newcastle haven't been bad recently. And to be fair, I mean they did okay. I guess actually, if you look at this graph, normally you'd look at Newcastle's XG and it'd probably look a little bit better on the graph if the team they were playing had about 1 XG, because it would stagger quite high. But just because City's was so high, it obviously just looks really, really flat.
Yeah, and also don't forget the offside one then doesn't count as anything.
Yeah.
So which was been like 0.7 or something like that. So you add that back in. But I mean, City were lucky to keep clean sheets today. They
Yeah,
shouldn't have
Edison
kept a
made some
clean
good
sheet
saves.
today. They caused them enough trouble to score. They just were bad when they got there. You know, Edison wasn't their greatest saves. They just messed them up.
You know, City were in a position where they needed to score as many goals as possible. They wanted that. They knew obviously the day before yesterday, as we're recording, it was obviously huge, and it means now that if they actually lose a game, then goal difference makes a difference. So you could see that in the second half when they were really pushing hard to try and score more, that they were being opened up a little bit more, and getting a bit sloppy. Laporte was obviously sloppy with that pass where they had the I can't remember who had the chance now, but just a bit sloppy at the back and just a bit lazy. But they were full throttle to try and score as many as. But you saw how happy Pep was when they scored that 5th goal. He was loving it.
Loving it, mate. Well, why wouldn't you, mate? They were.
It's a bit of a tough week for him.
So good. Zinchenko is like, every time he plays, he's a good player.
Yeah.
He's such a good player. Hey, did you see him? It was like having a full-on go at Cancelo after he scored. And it was definitely something about the idea of like me v you type thing here.
There was something going on.
There was definitely something going on there. But there was definitely. But they're just dreamy. Yeah. Rodri's just an absolute animal,
And that's what's that? Is that 2 in 2 for Rodri from a header? Or 2 in his last 3?
2 in the last 3, 6 goals for the season. It's good.
It's good.
I did think if I was a little salty that I thought the Laporte goal should have been chalked off, because Jesus blatantly pulled. I wasn't sure who it was, but he blatantly pulled someone out of the way so Gundo had the shot.
Yeah.
It was just an obvious foul to create the move for the shot. Like, I was just expecting that they were going to pull that, and they just
didn't bother. Oh, I think I'm going to sneeze in a minute, but anyway.
Good times.
Onto our game.
Do both the title rivals. So City are now.
They're now 3 points ahead. 3 points ahead and 3 goals, I think it is, on goal difference. I think they're 3 goals ahead as well. I think it's like plus 67 and plus 63 or something ridiculously mental like that. Plus 68 and plus 64. Those numbers are just bonkers. Like they're averaging almost 2 goals a game better than anybody they play, and they've played each other twice in there as well. So yeah. Us. I thought we were all right. I thought we were all right yesterday. I think Klopp gave us a bit of a disservice, actually. I think I know he's obviously bitter about not getting the result he needed, and I don't know what he expected. There was like a meme that came out of like him like with a happy face with it's like tactics I can exploit, and then there was a meme with an angry face like tactics I can't exploit, which kind of just felt like that was exactly what happened. I thought we were good though. I thought we were good. We created some big chances.
The thing is, the first thing everyone's talking about, and you search social media, first things people are talking about is Klopp's comments. He's a clever guy, mate. We're not talking about that. Actually, they didn't have the greatest game, and they probably have blown the league.
Yeah,
he's not an idiot, and it's a very good deflection tactic. He did exactly the same with Atletico when Simeone did it to him. It was immediately said, I couldn't train players to play this way. I couldn't do that. Fine, mate. Like, literally what you're saying is your preference is that you couldn't do that. Like, yeah, fine. Like, it doesn't bother me in the slightest that you want to make those comments, but don't expect that everyone's going to just walks in and let you
steamroll.
Like, we played a real low block, and we decided actually what we would do is just keep behind the shots.
Yeah, and we had 13. We had 13 block shots. Defensively, we were ridiculously good. But at the same time, every time we looked to get on the counter, Sessegnon was always free. Always so much space.
You can absolutely get at Liverpool, and they will give you good chances. And
Emerson was decent winning as well.
So good. We were talking about, we watched the game on Zoom together, and Like I kept saying about how good he played, but it was like tempered with for Emerson.
Yeah,
like good for Emerson, like and stuff is.
I think defensively he was. I think defensively he was as good as anybody really, but just technically he's just not very good. So
yeah,
when he got into good positions, his execution was poor.
yeah, exactly that. But it worked hard for the team, mate. It worked hard for the team, and effectively we had eight, as Tottenham are, these 8 players whose job is to stop us from conceding, and the other 3's job is to get into areas and create goals and score goals.
And two of those players, 2 players from the back, sort of work between the 2 as well. If you think
exactly
of the Sessegnon and Emerson type.
Yeah, exactly. The others, that's the reason why we can't treat it like Klopp called them world class, mate. Like we ain't got a world class. We got a couple of world class attackers, but we ain't got a world class team.
No.
For across the rest of it, it's still the case of hard workers sit behind the ball, do what they need to do, and wait for the time to get the chance. And we had one really good decision from Kane, where I think everyone in the world thought that he was going to bang it.
Yep.
They thought he was going to bang it. He slides Cess in. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Is that decision almost won us the game.
Well, let's call it what it was. The Diaz shot was what, 10 yards wide, probably 5 yards wide.
I'm surprised. It's one of those where they always just give it to they don't give the own goal for it, do they? But it didn't look like it was.
Didn't look like it was on target. Scabby deflection, really annoying. I mean, I guess from Tottenham point of view, the only thing I was frustrated about in terms of a football perspective, not so much FPL, was that we didn't actually push more for the win, because mathematically the draw doesn't really help us, and the loss actually makes no difference. I get from a psychological point of view that you wouldn't want to lose, and that's a good thing to carry into the North London derby. But mathematically, it didn't matter, so I was a bit frustrated at the last 10 minutes. But we
wouldn't have been frustrated though, mate, if Højbjerg just
headed it in from 5 yards. Yeah, that would have been helpful.
I mean, you just headed it in, or headed it even slightly forward so that Kane just taps it in. Just don't do what he did. And it's game over. But what about so let's just stick on Liverpool for a second. I mean, you as a non-Salah owner, mate, I would not have been worried at any point during that game.
No, it was only the only time was, I think I mentioned it already, the Ben Davies block. He got it was the first time he really found some space and actually got himself within sort of those white lines of the D, and looked to unleash it. And that was about it. I thought Sessegnon handled him very well, and he took a yellow as well during that period because he kind of had to. But generally was relatively quiet. I'm not sure what Salah's XG was yesterday, but
cares, mate. Like
it
just didn't feel like he was getting in. I still think it's the same.
0.25. There you go.
I still think it's the same thing. We talked about it inadvertently with Trent about saying the fact that he no longer is a bonus magnet because he's not sticking to the line and getting the crosses in and doing the stuff. I mean, he put loads of crosses in, but it was mainly because it was just block corners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he was actually in a fair few good attacking positions, I thought, at times, Trent. More so sometimes than Salah. And it's like, they're not really working as a partnership. The one that hugs the touchline the most is probably Henderson at the moment when he's there.
Yeah.
And then certainly when Henderson inevitably comes off, as he seems to do most games at the moment, makes Salah even worse. So I can see a lot taking Salah on in these last 2 weeks, but you just watch Wolves not bother trying to defend against Chelsea and just gone for it. And I've just watched Southampton not defend at all.
Yeah. Where are we going next?
Don't be surprised if he bangs a few.
Or do we want to? You got any concerns about Kane or Son for the last 2 games? I mean, obviously, not concerns, but where would you be looking at? Because you want to talk about Son, don't you?
I mean, I tweeted about him this morning because you remember games and North London derby last season. There was so many moments last season where Kane and Son just felt like such a partnership. And we talked about it a few times now about the fact of still feels like Kane is looking for Son. It does not feel like Son's even attempting to look for Kane. And there was a moment in the game in the second half
yesterday
when it was 0-0. And I was like, I've seen this before. As soon as you saw Kane make the underlapping run basically on Son, I thought, this is it. This is their, these are automations. These are things they practice doing time and time again, which is that Son brings the player in and he just does the inside little nick through. Kane runs through, goes near post high, and bashes it.
Yeah.
He's done it time and time again in big games, and it works.
And in this one yesterday, Son basically didn't make the pass. He got crowded out, lost the ball.
He didn't even try it. But look how close the defenders are. He had no chance he was going to get the shot to anywhere in that top picture. There's never a chance it's scoring. And Kane just did it. And to be fair to Kane, this is the thing. He don't complain, mate. He does not complain at all. He just goes through it and just go. And literally 5 minutes later, he plays the most unselfish pass he can do. So, but we've seen this before. We saw this in the North London derby last season. So if anyone's not seen his images, here's seeing it. Last season, North London derby, exactly the same position.
I mean, and he's literally in exactly the same. He's literally in exactly the same position.
Exactly the same position.
Maybe the second centre half is probably a bit further away, but he's as close to the defender in front of him as he was yesterday. Kane's making the identical runs. There's probably not even as much room in this one. There's less room, and the ball goes into Kane, and he bashes it near post.
Bashes it near post
2-0,
high.
I think it was. Yeah.
And you were like, whoa, this. For me, it just says to me is what we saw last season was two people looking. They were deliberately looking to try and create those records, and they've got that record now. And I just think Son is, and we don't know what Conte says, do we? So we don't know if this is a deliberate thing. So this isn't me saying that Son's a horrible person suddenly and that he hates Kane and he just wants to get the goal scoring record. He does things. You've got to remember is that Inter played with two strikers with Lautaro and Lukaku. It's just making note that these are two strikers now. And there'll be times where they piss each other off, as opposed to last season was Kane's the striker and you're one of the creative midfielders around it.
It could be, as you say, it could also be different instruction, because the same scenario can have two different impacts, right? You can say that Kane is making the run to collect the ball. You can also say Kane is making the run to take the defender with him. And if the defender runs with Kane in that situation yesterday, I think Son's probably too close to whoever it was. I can't remember, but he's probably too close to him. But if Kane's a little bit closer and actually manages to drag that player, Son gets half a yard, and then he pulls it. So, I think I think there's an element of Son wants the golden boot. I think as well. I think that's
definitely
obviously really important to him. Obviously, he's only 2 goals behind Salah now, and it might, and maybe that's the reason Kane's not complaining, is because he understands that piece as well.
Oh, so. And I don't think there's a problem in their relationship, because when the interesting one was when Son scored yesterday, he didn't go to Sessegnon. He ran to Kane.
He went straight to Harry.
He was like, you did that, because it literally was the right decision that Kane did on it. So I don't think that there's a falling out there. It doesn't surprise me if Kane is saying, look, I'm really happy for you to get this golden boot and do it. Yeah. What I'm saying is, going without Son doesn't, from an FPL perspective, does not seem to make sense, because he was a brilliant asset last season and he was unselfish.
Yeah.
He's now much more selfish, a brilliant asset, and he's playing as a proper number 9, and that's literally all he's doing. I saw a lot complaining about why I wasn't in the bonus. Of course he wasn't in the bonus. Like, he's literally playing as a number 9. So he therefore has no baseline whatsoever. He gets a couple of extra bits in his baseline because he takes 150 corners a season, but he's never going to get there
because he doesn't get the extra 6 points from scoring the goal as well. So he's not going to get close.
Yeah,
and he does stuff. He does stuff like this, where he there's a chance, and he loses the ball. So which is bad.
That's be understanding that what you're getting is probably a slightly less bonus hungry man of it, but what you're getting is an absolute centre forward that
gets 5 points a goal.
and could easily brace against Burnley.
Yep, agreed. Cool. So City done, Liverpool done, Tottenham done, Newcastle. Well, we're not really fussed about that. So
Not fussed about them.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
What do they do now?
Knows? I don't know. I don't know. Because we all thought that they were just going to stroll once Lukaku had scored that. Once they were 2-0, I think everyone just thought, well, that's game over. Did you see the interview from Conor Cody on Match of the Day?
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you think he's been watching us?
I don't know.
Do you think he's been watching us?
I think they might have a little stalk around FPL Twitter, see what's going on, and people talking about being on the beach and stuff.
For those that didn't, he mentioned about being annoyed about the amount of people that have said that they're on the beach, and I was like, yes, Connor's in.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Connor, if you are listening, we just want FPL points, mate. That's all we want. So that's what we're just trying to.
Mate.
We're just trying to identify where we can get the most points from. And yeah, that's it.
They just brought the fun, I thought, and every time they went at Chelsea, Wolves should have been 3 up at halftime. Easy. Like they were comfortably on an attacking space, had the easier run.
Yeah.
Like if Wolves had been as open as Chelsea was, for example, Chelsea would have scored 7 or 8.5. Like they were so open, they just didn't bother defending. Very interesting, I think, probably the likes of Rudiger, and you look at it and you go, is he just given up? Like, just didn't seem like he cared. As he just gone. Like they had to move James from right wing back to right centre back because it was just embarrassing. Like, there was just no legs between Rudiger, Thiago, and Aspi. They were just getting absolutely run ragged.
Yeah.
Moving Reece was a good option for him. I mean, that's an issue from a Reece James owner, is that he was then doing nothing because Alonso was taking all of the corners, all of the free kicks, taking everything. And then at least he got corners back once Alonso was off the pitch. But hey, he definitely didn't look a £6 million asset. No. The defence looks
it's
bad.
It's such a bad hold now, and I just can't. The thing is, I just can't find a better. There's just no one to.
Weeks left though. Like we've now got Leeds, which have got no defence. I mean, Firpo's literally the worst left back in the world. And then they've got Leicester.
Yeah,
and then they've got Watford.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You wouldn't want to pick too nice of fixtures there. I mean, just because the Leicester game is going to be, they will attack a bit. They won't sit in and block Chelsea. They will look to take it to Chelsea. Much like they did last year in the FA Cup, I guess. But the FA Cup last year, was it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they badly need that win because we've got a situation potentially that if Tottenham beat Arsenal and Leeds somehow beat Chelsea, there's 2 points in it with 2 games to go. Then it's the fun.
Yeah.
Because Tottenham's last 2 is Burnley and Norwich.
Yeah. Which you'd hope.
Arsenal's is kind of middling in that it's probably the harder one of Newcastle, but it's not hardish. Newcastle and Everton.
Yeah.
And Chelsea's got 2 home games, but everyone's got to play for it. So you can't take them out yet. But I mean, Havertz owners got to look at it and say, Big Rom turns up. What does that mean?
Oh, 100%.
It's just chaos, mate, there. And I'm all here for it, really.
I mean, I don't even know what this, because obviously they've got this new consortium deal going through. I don't know what that means for players' contracts. What are the new owners going to want to do with things? Don't know what they're playing for.
What's his name? Bowley, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He kept doing a wolf whistle when they scored. I was like, mate, what? Like they can hear you, like the proper like he looks like he's from some kind of 80s movie type thing. Like it's like Tin Cup Revisited, isn't it? That he just carried on for like 20 years. That's what he sort of looks like when I look at him. But yeah, it really bothered me when he started doing this weird rig. And then when they had a VAR goal, ruled out. Him and his mate were like, "What's going on?" Like, mate, don't pretend like you've got a clue.
Yeah.
I tell you what,
Full Ted Lasso.
I think a big downfall for them actually was Loftus-Cheek. Like, he's lazy, man. Like, he can ball. Like, I think Loftus-Cheek's a baller, but he was so lazy. Like, Kovacic must look at him and think, "Mate, I used to play with Modric and I played with Kante, and now you're just strolling around." He was a big problem for them, I thought, in the middle. And Pulisic is just too luxury.
Yeah.
He's too luxury.
And in that position anyway. You wouldn't have him in that position.
He was so hungry, wasn't he?
You'd have him instead of Werner. You wouldn't have him alongside him or behind him. And just, if you want to play Lukaku as that front and centre, then fine. That's not a problem, obviously. But no, I wouldn't be playing both Werner and Pulisic.
Isn't it mad looking at that though? Like, so 37-38, home to Leicester, home to Wolves. Home to Watford, sorry. We should all be thinking about bringing Chelsea in for these last 2 game weeks.
Yeah. Could you punt on Lukaku?
Kane to Lukaku.
Oh God. It's the only player you can go from, and I don't think you can do that. Unless, well, he's not scoring, is he, Kane?
He's not scoring, mate.
Mate, have we seriously just suggested Kane to Lukaku?
On free hit.
On free hit, not a transfer.
I'm not sure on transfer, but on free. Let's just say Salah plays. So let's just say Havertz starts and Salah plays 120 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Bin Salah off and big Rom up for 37, home to Leicester. Crap at set pieces, crap
Lukaku,
at defending.
KDB, Son.
It's fun, mate. There's some fun to be had.
It's that time of year, isn't it? It's that time of year. But Wolves.
Yeah, man, just crap. And now Sai's looked like he'd done himself. So they just got no defenders. Like, I mean, City, I just feel like City are going to absolutely annihilate them.
Yeah. No, agreed. Let's move on to Arsenal. Yeah, just because we'll keep it alongside the teams that have got stuff to play for. We're sort of working our way down the table, I guess. I guess we can move to like the Everton and Burnley next. I mean, I don't know what to say about this game. I don't want to say. I mean, I expected more from Leeds, but, and I apologise to Andy for what I'm about to say, but it just felt like a real petulant shit display that just felt like Leeds have been carrying around this mantra of the 1990s when they were this hard team that everyone hated and all this sort of stuff. And like 25 years have gone past and they're still carrying this on their shoulder. Like, Ayling's challenge was, I mean, it's possibly the stupidest thing I've seen. Like, it's the most ridiculous challenge on Martinelli.
The whole thing,
brainless.
Mate. Imagine. Do you remember the Jesus Navas goal against Tottenham for Man City against Tottenham? Like it was like when you're up against it and you know you're in for it. What you don't do, it's like keep it tight early, lads. Keep it tight early, lads. Oh man, we're just conceding the first minute. In the first 5 minutes, your keeper gets tackled for a goal.
Yeah.
You deserve to go down, mate. If you want to go that way and you're going to get tackled by your keeper in the first 5 minutes, like, what kind of professionalism is that? That's just like, I'm feeling like I'm a proper old school pundit. I feel like Steve Nicol on ESPN or something, like proper just disgusting.
Just disappeared off to a foreign country to make your point known because you're a well-known ex-Liverpool player.
Oh God, that's how I feel. But it is stupid. There are times where you're dumb. Like, mate, you can't get tackled for a goal. And then, yeah, I mean, the second goal happens and then you just get Ayling of all players as well. Like, what's he doing?
They pumped him up before the game as well. Congratulations, Luke Ayling, 500 appearances. Like, mate, that's it. Yeah. Terrible. And I have to say, Rafinha as well. I don't even know what Rafinha was thinking. I mean, he was acting like a child as well, just moaning at the referee at that point. I did see it called out as passion on Twitter. I thought it was a bit less than that. It was petulant and pathetic. to be honest. The game was gone from them already. Didn't need to happen. I was surprised Rafinha wasn't sent off at the same time.
Yeah.
To be quite honest. And then
you just kind of expected he was going to get sent off suddenly.
yeah,
I think Leeds is just a problem. That's a problem. You still got the same thing with Arsenal that we've talked about it. They are a low value, massive chance team, and you can see it when you look at this XG chart of just chip. Some of the things I've watched the highlights back, but I listened to the second half rather than watched this one. But Saka just felt very peripheral from being so. And I noticed it last week with Nketiah that he's quite greedy and quite central in the way that he plays. In fact, even his movement, he's quite lazy in his movement in that he's like, I will stroll around a very particular space. I don't think he's particularly good for Saka as an asset. I'm not sure you want to just bank for penalties on it. So I think on 37,
you could move
he's
Saka
an interest. Well, I don't think anyone on a free hit will have Saka in their team.
Yeah.
So if you're not on free hit, you're going to have a 50% owned Saka. So actually, it could be a good asset. But I think a lot of us are looking at potentially needing a bench, a forward, maybe a bench, either a forward or one of the midfielders. But I think most of us suddenly now have 3 forwards again. And I can see a lot of people benching Saka in 37, and I'm not really against it. I thought that
I think before the deadline you were saying you felt uncomfortable with it, but actually now you're a little bit more comfortable with it.
I just felt, and then get taken off, and I do wonder if he is nursing a little bit from that knock and whether he's not quite there. Ramsdale's just crap now, mate.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I agree to some extent. I think there's only so much you can take from this game, given that obviously they were down to 10 men from about the 20th minute. So there is that it was a relatively comfortable. So.
I think I can claim bad luck for me when I didn't even get a Ramsdale clean sheet this week. That's how my season's going, that I can't even keep a clean sheet against 10-man Leeds. Well, look at their XG.
0.15.
It's bad, but nobody on free hit's going to have Ramsdale next week again. So, business end of the season. Can you really, if you're not on free hit, spend a transfer on a keeper?
No.
And bring in?
No, mate. No, you don't. Just leave him there.
Well, let's just move to Everton then. So then we can talk about Mr. Pickford, because again, 7 saves.
Yep.
2 bonus.
There's once again a wonderful Leicester, typical Leicester XG chart, isn't it?
It's a typical Leicester XG chart.
Although I'm a little bit confused. Hold on, I'm trying to work out.
But the defense is bad. Did you see the Daka goal? I don't know what they were doing there. It was like proper.
I actually didn't see the Daka goal. No, I've seen the other goals,
but
no, I haven't seen the Daka one.
Yeah, no, they were terrible there. But I do look at Pickford and I think to myself is, there's a lot worse you can do than that. He really clearly means it. The issue is we might be in a situation that it's not that desperate next week. I was, kind of assuming that we'd go into next week with Everton in the relegation zone, but
if they pick up 3 against Watford, they could be safe by Brentford, couldn't they?
Yeah.
So, and this is only their second away win since the end of August. Fair play to them for that. And to a Watford team now who haven't won at home since United in November or wherever it was, that 4-0, the Ollie game. So
I think if they win against Watford, that's it.
That's enough.
It's enough. They'll be 4 points clear of Burnley. If Leeds lose to Chelsea, then Leeds have only got 2 games left, whereas Everton have got 3.
Yeah.
I think it's done, mate. In that case, they'll be 2 points behind Southampton if they beat Watford, with still a game in hand on them. And what does that mean for, like, will Everton just have some fun, like, in those 2 home games? Or
I don't think they can afford to, mate. And I don't think their fans will want them to. They'll just want them to get them over the line properly, and then maybe. But like, who's he going to rotate to? What's he going to do? Just bring Dele in and bring. I wouldn't mind him giving Dele some minutes so that he can be fit to stop Arsenal making the Champions League in game week 38. That'd be nice.
yeah, I mean, he does like playing them. But yeah, I mean, for Arsenal, what a fantastic outcome that it looks like Everton won't go to the last game of the season now, looking at relegation.
That'd be, yeah. Yeah, a little disappointed about that now.
Yeah. Could you take any punt on Leicester in that double?
No.
I don't think you can.
No, and it's even minutes as well. I mean, I don't know who's going to start, who's going to not. I mean, obviously Maddison. Well, originally I thought Maddison was rotated, but he's got a hamstring injury, I think.
He keeps saying he hasn't,
over and over, isn't it?
Yeah, he says he's suffering from it, and then he plays him for 90 minutes in the midweek, and you're like, is he? You're like,
yeah,
it's bloody difficult.
I don't know who you would pick. I mean, other than Casper.
Nah.
But then, like, what are you going to get from Casper? 8 points? You're going to be looking at 8 points, really, aren't you? As your kind of ceiling. 9. Get yourself a save point against Chelsea.
I think,
which isn't bad.
I think they'll beat Norwich, because Norwich are just,
Terrible.
West Ham have not been playing the best and just played Thursday night and then just stroll up and tank 4 past them. But I can still see people getting lured in on 37.
Yeah, Big Geeks just said Kane to Vardy captain for 37. That's
like the end of the season, mate, but I just can't see that you can do it.
I don't think you get 180. You wouldn't captain him if he was only going to get 120, would you?
I don't see that you can do it. But Chelsea, like, if Chelsea are all sewn up by then I don't know, it can be fun. And the 38 fixtures, all right, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And what's fun is that there are still lots of permutations still going on that actually keeps this interesting, which is good. There are enough teams involved, and there's not too many teams that are playing each other that are both like not got anything to play for.
I think both games you've got to wait on it. I think on free hit, I think Gordon probably misses out now. I think a lot of people looked at him. I think probably now they're thinking 4.5 for a reason and go somewhere else. I noticed that Gray was taking quite a few of the corners, which is not good for Gordon.
Kicks.
And the free kicks.
And took a couple of free kicks as well.
So he's in the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we got left?
Burnley, Aston Villa. We've got a few, so we've still got Burnley, Aston Villa.
We should do Burnley, Aston Villa, shouldn't we?
And then we can fly through the others, because we've got Burnley, Aston Villa, then we've got Brentford, Southampton, Crystal Palace, Watford, and I think we should finish with Brighton United, because it sounds fun.
Sounds fun, doesn't it?
So Burnley, Villa. So they've obviously got to play each other again coming up. So this is kind of like round 1 of. I'm just a bit confused by these charts at the moment. I mean, I'm looking at these charts. The last one was a bit off, and this one was a bit off. Hold on, what did we just look at? Leicester, Everton. If you look at the graph, Leicester are above it, and it says 1.01 xg. Everton 2 goals, 1.22 xg. I think they're just the wrong way around. So
just maybe the wrong way around. Yeah. But
Burnley, Aston Villa.
Burnley went at it again. Like, they just go for it, and they could have easily been in the game. But
we just needed Weghorst to get one of those on target in the first half. He had quite a few chances. In the game, he was busy.
He's getting himself into better positions. He is getting himself into better positions. Like, I think I was looking at him thinking that he's doing all the worker stuff and none of the striker stuff. But I felt like he was in some decent positions. But the fact is they're still Burnley. They're just not a big goal scoring team. Ings, Buendia, Watkins, they were the best on the pitch in the last game for that last half hour. They were very, very, very good, very sharp again, and took advantage of the fact that me and then Tarko is injured as well.
Yeah.
Which, from a Tottenham perspective, is great news if it's out for a little while, and makes it very, very difficult. Wendy was sharp. Watkins is super sharp.
Yeah, agreed.
I thoroughly enjoy Watkins as a player. He's just always running. Just never ever stops running. He's always in the box. He's always ready. As a player owning him,
positions he got himself into yesterday were fantastic. His goal was excellent. I mean, it's a great ball, but I don't think you can ask anything more as a striker to have a ball like that planted on your head out 6 yards
beautiful.
out. I mean, it's just perfect.
He does kind of need that a little bit at times because he can be a bit, not the greatest finisher in the world, but he is so willing, mate. You just love having him as a manager.
Agreed.
And he's a fitness monster.
Agreed.
So if there's ever a man that can play 4 games in 2 weeks, it's Ollie Watkins.
Yeah.
Coutinho.
Ings is still interesting though, because he's just a good goal scorer, isn't he?
Yeah, and do you think that Ings would have the penalties if they got one? I think he would.
I think he would. Yeah. Because although didn't Douglas Luiz play today? Yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think Doug's getting him.
You don't think so?
Nah.
He was on him before though.
I think Watkins took the last one they had.
Was Luiz on the pitch though?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Watkins had been the designated.
We can have a look at that
when Ings wasn't there, but I reckon Ings might be on it.
Yeah.
I'm not against still an Ollie Watkins captain. If I need to chase, which it looks like I probably do.
I mean, look, they've got a Palace team that, well, it's weird because I think it was about 3 weeks ago had this sort of premise that, or this preconceived notion that Palace were bad away and good at home, and I think they hadn't won in 5 at home and hadn't lost in 5 away at the time, which was a bit stupid. But previous to that, they were poor away and good at home. So I think we'll just, for the purpose of this, we'll just stick to that and say that Palace aren't as good away from home as they are at home. So I would fancy, I would fancy Villa to do work on them in that game. And again, you've just said like the no Tarkowski is obviously a big problem for Burnley, and Gerrard might just decide just to start the same way. I mean, even like Cash and Dina were well involved today as well. And so I think that Watkins will get chances in both games. Yeah, for sure.
I will get chances, and it's just whether you go on that or you go on one of the. It's probably for me. I think Watkins, Richarlison, Son are kind of the early standouts. Yeah,
I'm finding out about whether Doug Luiz was on the pitch.
We had a message in our chat by Anthony Chung that said Watkins at the last pen, but Ings and Coutinho on the pitch. I'm sure not Doug Luiz, mate. I'm sure that's not the case.
Okay, fair enough.
Coutinho.
Do you think that's just a rest? The problem is when Diaz played well, and I don't think it's going to be one or the other, right?
It's going to be one or the other, mate. But I think the good news, I suppose, is that they are the 2:00 game on the Sunday. So we'll get the press conference beforehand. You'll get to hear what it says. He's such a big name that I think that you might get some kind of inkling based on what happens on that game in the Liverpool one or something.
Well, he'll play the Liverpool game, won't he? For sure.
Bearing in mind, if you think it's even one cameo appearance with the Man City game in 38, he's just to get rid of.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because you were getting rid of him in 38 anyway. You don't want to carry a £7 million player, but you don't want it. Yeah, you'd rather hit for 37 and get rid of him early.
Yeah.
And probably a player to look to hit him to then is probably Zaha.
Yeah. Easy. Because even the United game in 38 is decent.
Is Zaha a captain option for 37?
Possibly. Although my only concern would be what I've just said about Villa at home and Everton's home form. I guess it depends on what we see from if Chelsea beat Leeds and then Everton beat Watford, that could swing it. Because I think if, as you say, if they manage to get a result against Brentford, it might even only be a point, right? Then that game could be fans are celebrating, like
Yeah.
all hail Lampard, and then potentially could be an option
I think
because he's Zaha. Everything goes through Zaha.
does go through him. And I don't know if you saw Vieira's comments, but basically said, I'm going to play him centre forward for the next 3 games.
Well, there you
go. He got free bonus in this game.
Yeah, but he was busy. I mean, he had 3 key passes, 2 shots on target, 1 goal.
Yeah.
His pass completion was like 88%. I don't think he got enough passes in there to get to the bonus, but I mean, he was good.
The thing I always remember that Walsh on FML FPL used to say that like he never ever gets bonus, and it's correct actually. In the last 6 games, that's the first time he's got bonus. He scored 4 goals in the last 6 games, and that's the first time he's even got a point of bonus. He does dodge bonus on the whole.
Is that because normally he's quite wasteful though,
and
he does stupid shit like miss penalties?
Exactly that.
That's the problem, I guess.
But
he's on pens.
But he's on pens, so it's almost like that's the best chance. But would you back him to score a penalty against Emi Martinez? I'm not sure I would, mate. I've seen him hit some bad pens.
I was very hopeful of a Foster penalty save on my bench boost this week.
Exactly. When he steps up,
I was actually thinking, penalty, I don't mind that.
And Pickford's on it, like as well. Yeah. Like I could almost see him trolling you out and missing a penalty in these 2 games. But I think on free hit, I just have to have him in. He's fun.
Yeah, I think free hit definitely. I wouldn't even mind it as a transfer. If you've got the luxury to do it, I don't mind it as a transfer either, because I don't mind that United game at all, especially at home. Really don't mind that, especially with the history that he's got with United, the way that United are playing full stop.
Yeah.
He can run at Dalot, he can run at Varane, he can run at whoever if Maguire gets back on a pitch or whatever, but he's going to cause them problems. And
then
Louise was on the pitch when Watkins did the penalty.
Mate, you're done on that one. You're done on that one. He's got Man United last game up as well, so hey, that seems like a good attack to play against, as Brighton showed on the weekend.
Yeah, well, have we missed any other games out?
We got one other, Norwich West Ham. Do you want to do Norwich West Ham first?
Yeah, just quickly do Norwich West Ham. We're not picking either of their players, so we might as well just touch it.
Look at the size of the chances they concede.
Massive.
It's not the number of chances they concede, it's the size of them. When you see their XG chart, is every single chance they concede is like quarter of an XG minimum.
And the last one was a penalty, wasn't it? So
that's a Sun game, mate. How on earth do you look at this? I haven't got Sun. How on earth do you look at this and not go with Sun for the next 2 weeks, mate, when you've just seen these?
Yeah, true. He is a big chance monster.
He is a big chance. You've got a man that's just standing up front and they're giving away 0.3, 0.4 XG chances for fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is ironically what he scored from was a 0.45 XG chance apparently at the weekend. So yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're worth targeting. That's as much I need to say. That
yep.
Benny.
It was like throwback game. It was like throwback game week 1. This wasn't it? Look, Ben Rama.
I even said, didn't I? We have our little pod chat, and I actually said it's a bloody long season. Doesn't feel like the same one that Benny was ill in all our teams.
Yeah.
And then when he scored today, I was like, oh, it's quite comforting, in a way. So that's cool.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't speak to anyone about it. I didn't mention it to you. I was worried. I was happy enough with Dawson, obviously for my team. And I did wonder about Bowen and why he wasn't being talked about. And he got 3 assists, I think, but why he wasn't being spoken about as one of the single game week options, other than particularly those on free hit. Just feel like
it is, but
everyone's always going to those doubles. But Norwich, right? I mean, I'm surprised we didn't see him in a few. That's all.
It's a funny one, that actually. Now you've said it, because I know quite a lot of people looked at I think on free hit, I probably would have gone down the Maddison route. and just gone, I'm targeting that Norwich game.
Yeah.
And you don't know if he's going to play either.
No.
But you absolutely knew that
Bowen was playing. And
Bowen was playing Norwich.
Ironically, I did check. So that's one thing I did check, is I did check whether he played after every European game as well. And he had done. And it was one thing. Why was I checking that though? Because I think I was in a space on Friday. I was just listening into a space on Friday, and there was someone in there that was just going, Maddison is the one. Maddison the one. I don't even care if he gets rotated. I want him for that Norwich game.
It's
a
funny thing, Norwich. Mate. Never even considered it, but that's a good
amazing.
one. But we did talk about it, and we said Dawson. It was never worth a 4-point hit out on a double game week defender for having someone in this.
No,
and it wasn't.
No,
and it proved it wasn't. You know, it felt like 6 points was the minimum.
I say Dawson. I said it, didn't I? Dawson better than Cash.
Yeah, it was definitely. It was definitely because it was like as soon as you added a 4-point hit to it, just because you want to look good on what you got on your bench boost, it wasn't going to work out. Whereas it was like, well, you're kind of starting at 6 points with him.
Yeah.
And let's see how he get to it. And
yeah,
had a little haul, which is lovely for you.
Yeah. Someone in the chat just put Zaha has as many league goals as Harry Kane. Yeah, thanks for that. We were well, I don't think we were aware of that, but that makes sense.
Does, mate.
Does make sense.
And Richarlison, if you're looking that way, is massively out shooting Harry Kane. You know, nobody in the last 6 game weeks has had more shots than Richarlison. And free hits can be 45%. He's going to be, I think Richarlison will be the most captain player. He's going to be 90, well over that. He was 30% owned this week. And a lot of people brought him in if they weren't free hitting. He'll be 120, maybe even as much as that next week. So
120 on Richarlison.
I can see it, mate. I think it probably easily will be.
It's really weird. I said I wasn't going to go there, and I went there in the end. I mean, it worked out. It did make it. It was the right decision, I think, in the end. But it was. I was tempted not to go with him, but
I was very tempted to do the move as well. That was the other one. Zoff on the wire had said to me about, why don't you go Kane to Richarlison and Kulu to KDB? And I was just like, I just really wanted Kane and Kulu for the Arsenal one, just loyalty. And we'll see how that repays me, but it's not started so well.
Right, let's get on to this last game. We can talk about
last game. We can go.
So much fun.
Yeah. How many points has Leandro Trossard got in the last 6 games?
Oh, mate, it's absolutely disgusting. Somebody tweeted it yesterday. It is honestly
54 points in his last 6 games. He's had 4 big chances, 4 goals. He's had 9 shots in the box.
Like one of those was against City, which he didn't play.
Yep. And he played wing back against Tottenham. He played in wing back. Didn't play up there. He played at wing back.
Yeah.
54 points in his last 6 games, Leandro Trossard. He's actually...
My sister's got him.
138 points for the season. He has done all right. And Brighton just fabulous, mate. Like that could have been 5-0 in the first half, and it turned out to be what it was. It didn't deserve to be any less than that.
No.
We've talked about him.
We were talking about it last night, weren't we? So we were talking about it last night, just from a technical perspective. I mean, they are just an excellent. Each one of their signings are technically very good. Like Cucurella, he's just technically a fantastic player. That first, I think that second goal though. Was it the second goal? I'm trying to think which one was it. The Alexis McAllister.
Was it the
Pascal Gross goal?
Yeah, where Cucurella took it. Bob Sanchez.
Yeah.
What a fucking baller Bob Sanchez is, by the way.
I felt like that is
so
the laziest
distribution.
Honestly, that is the worst defending thing I've seen in the Premier League. Genuinely. I mean, it was literally like a training game, and Dalot literally just stood off Cucurella as he just took a touch and went, okay, I'll just play it inside then. And then I think it was McAllister who just played it into Gross. It's like, oh, okay, I'll just nip it in. Okay, thanks.
I actually thought Dalot probably had the most sort of half decent game of all the United players, but Jesus, it was
terrible.
Lindelof, mate, how is he still playing Premier League football? Like, what does that happen?
I think Ronaldo summed it up at when that third and fourth goal went in, and the camera just panned straight to him and just zoomed in on him, and here he is just smiling and shrugging, like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what the hell can I do? I just can't.
Why does he decide to give Mata like a swan song? Like, go on, go play some Mata. Like, you weren't. Come on, mate. Like, this was the Premier League. He's so.
Is that definition of beach from the manager's perspective?
Definition of beach.
You let Juan Mata just
That's
Complete
it.
waste.
Got one game left now.
Yeah.
Palace away, and they're done.
Yeah.
West Ham probably going to take them, aren't they? Good chance.
West Ham are going to take what?
Could still take Man United.
Oh, United. Sorry. Yeah, chance.
Still got a chance. They've got the goals.
Yeah.
Brighton in that last game. Fair play, Brighton, though. Brighton up to 9th. They deserve to be.
Best season they've had. They still need that striker. And I think that striker is probably the difference between... I mean, they're only 8 points off West Ham. That's pretty good.
They lost 6 in a row, mate. Like, literally a month ago, they lost 6 in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty bad run, wasn't it?
Leeds look like they're the ones that are going to go to me. And I'm saying this in the hope that they somehow turn up in midweek and turn over Chelsea, because then it's proper fun with 2 games to go.
So
we're almost there.
So I've got the fixtures just from Lego Mane. I've accidentally cut off his his little tag at the bottom. So mate. Sorry, Lego Mane, but it's his wonderful fixture ticker. And so just looking at the team, so we had that question earlier on about free hit for game week 37. So who are like your locks for game week 37?
I think you got a decision on Emmy or Pickford in goal, and I think it's just budget. You just work it through and go, what can I afford? I think I would go Emmy if I could afford it. He looked sharp, I thought, on the weekend. You
think that last goal didn't seem...
but just in general, I just felt like it was okay. Emmy might be there. The benefit, I think, of probably going Pickford is that I probably like some of the outfield defenders more. I think Mikalenko's doing a bloody good job, and looks like a player, but he ain't going to score those kind of 20-yard volleys every week.
No.
So I think if you were looking at getting a Cash or Dina, I mean, that's tough now as well, which one you go. But
is there any difference in price? They're about the same, aren't they? Like
5.3, I think Cash is now.
Yeah.
5.0, so a bit cheaper. But it's tough because I think that the maximum you're going to have is 3 defenders.
Yeah.
In this team.
Because there's enough for because you've got enough up front, whether it's a Richarlison. So everyone's going to have Richarlison.
Richarlison and Watkins is probably in everyone's team.
And then maybe Kane.
Maybe Kane if you're going free, but then you're losing a premium midfielder.
Yeah.
Son is in everyone's team.
Yeah.
I think Zaha should be in everyone's team.
Yeah. And then you've got a choice between KDB and Salah, probably.
KDB and Salah, or both, if you can get there.
Or both, if you can get him in there.
Yeah. Or you look at the who mate, Luke and the Jump the Wave guys are doing such an unbelievable job on their predictions. If they give you hope of what you might get for that game, and I think we should be in a relatively good space because City play on the Sunday, don't they? Which means that we'll get a midweek game, and then we'll go into that 2:00 Sunday game. So I think we'll have a reasonable idea of who's going to play for City.
Yeah.
And so...
yeah, they play on the Sunday.
I think you still want someone. with West Ham. I think
It's going to be an odd one for West Ham because it's the first time they'll have had a week off in God knows how long. Could be an interesting one, that.
And if they win somehow, like David Moyes is quite the, you can imagine him being quite obstinate in that world for doing it. Then he'd love a say in a title challenge, and they're still chasing Man United for that last European place.
True.
So it's a difficult one on the City, but I think I'd want to try and get at least 2 City in. What I'd do on Liverpool, I don't know. I don't even know if I would have any.
I mean, would you not pick?
But it's Southampton. We didn't even cover Southampton, Brentford.
No, we didn't. Hold on.
That's how bad Southampton have been, is that we've not even talked about. We just dismissed it. Oh, cool. There we go.
There it
Look
is.
at that. They're really, really bad.
Cool. Well done, Pontus Janssen.
So I think Liverpool, you take the punts based on who plays the Chelsea game. But you'd worry.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, the FA Cup. So we'll know.
Yeah. And we'll also be one more game closer to the title being challenged, won't we?
Yes.
We will. So we'll know how much they need it and what they do, but they could easily bang 5 past Southampton.
Yeah. Yeah, they could do.
So
which means, I mean, yeah, it depends, because if that's it, because if it's going to be Jota, then I would probably, you could either go Salah or Jota. I think if it's Diaz, I could be tempted by Mane, to be fair.
Yeah.
As well. Because you know that if Diaz plays, then Mane hits that centre forward spot.
You're basically looking at who either doesn't start against Chelsea or whether it comes off early.
Yeah.
That forward that always comes off at about 70 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's Mane comes off after 70 minutes, then he's gold actually for that Southampton game.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Old team loves it.
Van Dijk's not the world's worst option, but it's a bit dull, isn't it?
Well, just because, because all you're really going to, it feels dull because all you're going to be doing for anybody not on a chip is someone that you're still going to have Trent and Robbo. So what are you really doing? You're covering, you're kind of covering somebody without a chip, which feels counterintuitive on a free hit.
And you feel like there'll be enough goals that he's not going to get in the bonus anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're good.
There's a lot to play.
So hopefully that answered, the question to Chintan about the initial thoughts for drafts for the free hit. So thanks to you, Chintan, for your super chat. Really appreciate that.
Do you think many will captain Son with the fact that it's the early kickoff? It's a midday kickoff on the Sunday, first game of the game week.
Mahatma Gandhi, mate. Never back the early kickoff.
I feel like that's gonna, if you.
That's where I'll be. I'll probably be on Son captain.
Yeah.
I'll probably be on Son captain. Probably. But
he'll be over 100%, won't he?
Yeah, surely.
I think so. When you add the free hits in, there's nobody on free hit that's not going to have him, and he's already over 50% anyway.
Yeah.
It's
cool. So a few games to go. Hopefully it gets better for you, mate. I really do hope it does. Although
it probably the only
way it can get better for you is if it gets worse for me. So I'm not really in favour of that.
Yeah, mate, it probably won't, because I'm not on bench boost. I'm not on free hit next week. I've just got to.
It's just Salah, isn't it? But then Salah doesn't really help you, does it?
No. Like, in a strange way, because for the good of us, I'll be over the moon if Salah blanks, because that gives you a really good chance. It doesn't gain a huge amount for me.
Yeah.
I hope that stays that way. But
cool.
Just plan them out, mate.
We're bordering on an hour and a half, mate. We should probably call it a day.
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. So again, thanks to everyone in the chat on the stream this evening. Really appreciate you coming along. If you don't know, follow us on Twitter at Above Average FPL and at Baker FPL343. Podcast available, podcast players. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, whether it's on the audio or on YouTube. We've got 28 likes on the YouTube from what I can see. So please hit that like button before you go tonight. That'd be wonderful. And yeah,
and tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after, and all of those ones.
And all of those ones. Cool. Right. Well, I'll speak to you later, mate.
See you later, mate.
Take it easy.